What's up, y'all? We skipped a week, but we back. So you know what time it is. This is the War Room. Man, I'm so excited to be back. You know, we wasn't here last week. We had a lot of things going on. I was sick for one. So, we wasn't able to do it last week, but we are here to satisfy your need for these rumors, these headlines, and we're going to come back with the 5-minute trash. But today we here for the wrong room. But before that, I want to go ahead and plug my boy, Andrew Mott, over at the League FFB, where Andrew Mott and myself handle Let's Talk Dynasty, and we do that every Saturday. So come check us out, and we'll get your fantasy lineups ready, and we'll get you ready to win these championships, make these trades, and get you some young players so you can build up your rosters for the future and this season. But other than that, we all know why we're here. Let's get started. All right. We kicking it off with what we've been doing. It seems like since we started doing the War Room pretty much. We got to talk about Vince McMahon. Man, it's not looking good for Vince. I'm going to be 100% real with y'all. It's not looking too good. Slowly but surely, it seems like there's some Game of Thrones level betrayals going on behind the scenes between himself and TKO. Let's get into the headlines, the rumors. Let's get into it. Vince McMahon may pose a financial risk to TKO due to investigations and allegations. That's per reports. That's our first bit of news there. Then we had another one. Vince's stock in TKO is being sold by Vince. 30% of it, in fact. And his shares are being sold, and guess who wants to buy them? Two of the heads, one being, how do you say it? How the hell do you say it? Ari Emanuel. They want to buy $2 million worth of shares from Vince McMahon. And that's according to Wrestle Talk. This is just starting to feel real dirty. This is starting to feel real grimy. Now, I'm not a Vince McMahon apologist, so I'm not finna sit here and say, oh no, how could this happen to Vince? Oh no, Vince is such a good guy. Oh no, Vince. That's not me. I'm not going to say that. Vince has historically been a pain in my wrestling viewership, a pain in my love for wrestling. And I honestly think while there's a place for Vince McMahon in professional wrestling, I think his time of being one of those people who has the creative vision and putting the whole thing together, I think that time for him has passed. I think it's passed. So him selling 30% of his shares in a company. Now, I'm not a finance guy, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you what that means. But if I'm not mistaken, and someone please in the comment section, if you're a little more enlightened when it comes to this financial thing, please leave a comment to correct me and educate me on this whole thing. But if I'm not mistaken, Vince had 49% of the shares of TKO. And this is from what I remember. And I think Ari Emanuel or somebody, whatever the case is, the other side of it had 51%. So they had the majority percent in TKO. But if Vince, and this is where I'm confused, if Vince is selling 30% of his shares, and I'm not a math whiz, I don't know what 30%. What 30%? To me, it sounds like Vince is about to be having a young 19% of the company left. And that really means, I mean, from what I understand, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, that means that he's not pretty much finna not be running shit if he sells 30% of his shares. That's just the way I see it. Like, I don't know anything, so please, in the comments, if you know more about finances and business and things of that nature, I have a business, but I'm very unknowledgeable. Let me assure you, I'm very unknowledgeable when it comes to business and business practices. So he sell 30% of what was already 49%, if I'm not mistaken. Does that mean that he technically don't have a leg to stand on in the company pretty much? I don't know. But that's what's going on with Vince, man. And I'm no genius, but it sure as hell sounds like they're trying to push him out. It sounds like TKO, the heads at TKO, are the ones that are leaking this information about Vince and saying these things about Vince. I think they want Vince to leave. That's just where I am with it. It seems like the tone from a few days or the night after WrestleMania ended, where they were talking about how Vince is an asset and how they need Vince around and how Vince is still going to be doing this or that. It sure as hell seems like that's not the case anymore. So Vince, I don't know, man. He's looking shaky for you, dog. Next, Monday Night Raw. Matter of fact, let's just call it Raw at this point. We can't even call it Monday Night Raw because apparently, according to Variety, nobody knows where the hell Raw is going. Is Raw going to be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Where the hell is Raw going to be? Somebody got to know something. Take these glasses off a second. Somebody got to know, man, because we already had the report. I told you guys here, right here on the War Room, that Ari Emanuel, he don't care what night Raw goes on. He don't care what night Raw goes on. Monday, whatever. He don't care. It sure as hell seems like, and that what they're basically saying with some of the reports too is that since USA has spent so much money to acquire SmackDown, the assumption now is that maybe they'll be like, they're going to do a hard pass on Raw and let Raw go somewhere else. And I mean, the next story that I'm about to tell you kind of leads into it. Because like I said, we skipped the week and I don't know how this got past my radar, but apparently NXT is going to the CW. The CW, the channel that all the C-list wrestling shows go to, and I say that with respect. Like, I'm talking about shows like Ring of Honor. Like, we know WWE, Ring of Honor, there's levels, but you got NXT going over to CW. Isn't WoW on CW? Wasn't Lucha Underground on CW at one point? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's definitely a step back for NXT, but we ain't talking about NXT yet. We talking about Raw, and I don't know where Raw gonna go, man. Right now, Raw is looking like they roommates and made some little notes to them, made some little hints to them. It's time for you to move out. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh, you got that promotion yet? Yeah, what you gonna do? Like, keep asking Raw what they gonna do, and then a date gonna come up, it's gonna be like, where the hell Raw at? But yeah, man. I hope they keep it on Mondays, man. And it'll be super weird if they move SmackDown to Mondays. Like, Raw is a staple on Monday nights since I was a kid. I don't know what it will be like to not have Raw on Monday nights. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else too. This TKO thing, while I was feeling it at first, putting Triple H in charge, this and that, now they starting to do some shit that they just starting to do a couple little things is making me raise my eyebrows and question the future of the WWE. So we'll see. Next, NXT. Apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, NXT may go on the road soon, like, travel around like they're like the main roster does, SmackDown, Raw, and move out of Orlando. I'm a true believer in if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think there's a place for some traveling to happen with NXT, but I think their primary base probably needs to just be in Orlando, especially for the performers that aren't quite ready, the ones that still need to have access to the performance center and do their training and things like that. Going on the road, that's for like the seasoned wrestlers. So maybe they could do something like maybe 1 week or 2 weeks out of they definitely shouldn't do like a full schedule on the road where they're going city to city to city, but maybe do something where like once a month they go somewhere and then they go back to Orlando for 3 weeks, then they go somewhere, something like that. But like them being in a different city every night, like I think that'll be tough for the ones that like are just getting started. But this is another thing with the CW. So apparently also a part of this report, the CW, the reason they're talking about this is because the CW wants since they purchased the WWE show, they want it to look like a WWE show when they're on the CW, and see larger crowds, not in a small, personal, intimate setting like they do over at NXT. But our retort to CW is, y'all didn't care when it was Ring of Honor. You didn't care when it was Lucha Underground. You don't care when it's WoW, if WoW is even, that's women of wrestling. Or I think that's women of wrestling. WoW was on the channel. So now all of a sudden, you purchase us, and I'm pretty sure you spent a lot of money, but we're gonna keep doing our thing. We ain't gonna switch our stuff up. You get to say we have a WWE show on our station. You get to say that now and just be happy with that. CW, you got a WWE show. Shit. Back when I was younger, and the channel that used to be the CW, which I might not know what I'm talking about, but I don't know if the U, because in Chicago growing up, there used to be a channel called the U. I don't know if that became the CW or if that became my TV or whatever. But all I got to see was Shotgun Saturday Night. So y'all lucky y'all ain't getting Shotgun Saturday Night. Y'all getting a nice, premium show like NXT. Be happy with that. Shotgun Saturday Night. Next. Back to TKO. Here we go again. TKO apparently wants to sell the idea of a TKO weekend. TKO weekends, everybody. TKO weekends, where they do premium live events for WWE on Fridays, UFC on Saturdays, and then wrapping it up with WWE on Mondays. Notice they said WWE on Mondays. They didn't specify whether or not it will be Raw or SmackDown. They said WWE. And I didn't even get a chance to know who this report came from, but I can tell you, so I apologize for that. But I'll tell you this. That is a dumbass idea. It's dumb. Just like moving Raw from Monday nights. Dumbass idea. I can't stress that enough, how dumb it is. You want to do premium live events on Friday. Okay, listen here. Do you guys know that all of your fans aren't kids who have to be in the house on Fridays? All of your friends aren't married people who sit at home with their wife on Fridays and watch TV. Some of your fans actually, go out. And we don't want to see this. We don't want to watch a replay, because the replays for WWE suck, especially if they're staying on the Peacock, which that's another can of worms that I don't know how that's going to work out. But once again, leave shit alone. You already moved it. You already moved it from Sunday to Saturday. Now you want to move from Saturday to Friday? What the fuck are you guys doing? Like, it was perfect on Sundays. Sundays was my I'm going to watch a wrestling pay-per-view Sundays. Then it's Saturday. Saturday, I was like, oh, okay, well, I do be having stuff to do, but, I'll make a little time to watch some wrestling on Saturday. Now you're talking about Friday. Just leave the shit alone. UFC Saturdays. I mean, look, okay. I like and respect the UFC, okay? I like and respect it. I can respect the UFC. But why you ain't talking about moving the UFC to Fridays? Because in my opinion, one, I think they already be doing that shit. Two, that makes a hell of a lot more sense to me. Move the UFC to Fridays and then keep WWE on Saturday or Sunday or whatever. Like, whichever day on the weekend it is, I do not want WWE PLEs, premium live events, to be moved to Fridays. It doesn't make sense. Move UFC if you want a TKO weekend. Stop trying to switch it up too fast. You're changing everything about WWE, but not changing nothing on the UFC side, man. Y'all really starting to piss me off. Next, John Cena's teasing his retirement on Instagram. We seen that's all, folks. The end. We've seen Babe Ruth. We've seen David Beckham. He's doing all these things, basically dropping hints that he's retiring. And I'll tell you this, John, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere, John. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait 1 minute. I need you to do something before you leave. It's a small request. Small request. I need you to do something, John. Not just for me, but for a lot of your fans who wanted to see this for quite some time. I need you to do something. For me, do something for all of us. I need you to turn heel. I need you to turn heel just one time before you leave. Just give us that. Just give us that, John. I get it, man. I get it. You have a lot of commitment to make a wish. You got a lot of commitments to make a wish. I respect the years of, I respect who you are and what you stand for. But as an actor now, you got to understand, we want to see a performance. We want to see a performance of a lifetime. I want you to be so demoralized and pissed off and downtrodden, if that's the right word for the context, downtrodden about all these losses that you're having to all these young stars, that I want you to come back and I want you to be a heel. I want you to get revenge on those young guys, and I want you to attack the faces that are young guys and just show us that you're the GOAT. I want you to come back in a fucking suit. A fucking suit. And if you have the capability to grow a goatee, grow one. Because I want to see that. I want to see you come back in the suit. I want to see the John Cena that I see on late night talk shows talking. I want to see that Cena show up to a WWE ring, because every time you showed up to a WWE ring is in your green, your colored shirt, and your jorts and your shoes. I want you to come back with a suit. And if I ever see you come back with a suit in the ring and you're not like officially retired, I'm going to know what time it is. If you show up in a suit, John, I'm going to know what time it is. It's going to be time for you to be a heel. That's what I want to see. That's what many people want to see, John. Just do it. Don't retire until you do that. After you do that, everything comes full circle. You started off as a heel. You were a baby face for all these years while you were becoming one of the greatest of all time, and you get to end it on the same note as a heel, and we want to see it. And if you could even have one final match where you realize the errors of your ways, have that match, pass the torch, and then get out of there. But we got to see you turn heel before you leave, man. Please. Please. And that was my plea, you guys, to John Cena to turn heel. That's honestly, that's going to be the last time I'm going to ever ask for it. I've been asking for it for years. I'm not going to ask for it no more. All right. Next. Apparently, The Bunny and Matt Riddle are starting OnlyFans. Now, let me clarify. The Bunny and Matt Riddle are not starting the OnlyFans, so I'm not saying they're starting one together. They're separately starting OnlyFans. The Bunny is starting OnlyFans. Matt Riddle is starting OnlyFans. I mean, I don't have much more shit to say about that besides I'm only somewhat halfway interested in that story. You get it? Halfway interested. Moving on. LA Knight has backstage heat. We've been hearing about LA Knight's attitude since God knows when. But according to Booker T, some of the other performers in the back have a problem with LA Knight. Guess what? So fucking what? LA Knight is hot. Naturally, as human beings, and human beings experience jealousy, naturally, some of the people are probably like, oh man, LA Knight just got here. I've been here for years. And I haven't gotten my chance. When I have a feeling for some reason that is Ricochet. I just feel like I just hear him being the one saying it. And I'm sorry. For all those performers in the backstage that got a problem with LA Knight because he's having success, I got one thing for you. Learn how to fucking talk on the mic. That's it. That's the golden rule. And I will stake my 25 years of watching wrestling on that fact that the golden rule to be successful in wrestling is knowing how to fucking talk. It doesn't matter if you're one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. It doesn't matter if you could do all kinds of high-flying moves off of the highest shit that's in the arena. None of that shit matters. Only special gimmick. If you're a special gimmick, you might be able to have success as a wrestler and not knowing how to talk necessarily. But for the guys that go down in history, the guys and women that we remember, you got to know how to rock the mic. You got to be good on the mic. It didn't used to be like that for the women. I will say that. It didn't used to be like that for the women. The women used to be about how does she look and can she wrestle a little bit? And I'm talking about this is like before the women revolutionized professional wrestling. I'm talking about the early days when I first started watching wrestling. If you could look good and do a fucking hip toss, you were winning the women's title. That's just look, I'm just putting it out there. You think Trish Stratus could talk? No, Trish Stratus not good on the mic. She's a legend. She's not good on the mic. But go back to the early 2000s, late 90s. Mainly, late 90s. Look at when Trish Stratus first arrived. She was just generationally attractive. I'm just telling you, she's generationally attractive. Over time, I watched Trish Stratus go from somebody who was only good enough to be a valet because she couldn't wrestle for shit to actually being a good wrestler. But Trish never knew how to talk. Lita never knew how to talk. Like, women only, I'm trying to think who the first woman was where I was just like, damn, she's good on the microphone. I honestly could say I don't think that existed, and I don't think that existed until like the last 10 years. Leave it in the comment section below. If you could think of the first female professional wrestler that was good on the microphone, leave it in the comments below. But I'm telling you right now, that woman being good on the microphone thing didn't start until the women's revolution started. I'm telling you, I can't think of a woman before 2013 that was good on the microphone. I just can't. And if I'm overlooking someone, I apologize. Leave it in the comment section because I honestly can't tell you who was good on the mic that was a woman up until recently. Next story. The Rock apparently was approached by the Democrats and the Republicans about becoming the next president. All right, so I'm about to probably make a somewhat huge mistake, especially with such a small following right now, my YouTube presence. But I'll tell y'all right now, I'm bipartisan. I don't align with any specific political party. I basically vote for the motherfucker that I think makes more sense for the period of time of what's going on at the present moment. That's just how I roll. Like, I'm not gonna reveal who I voted for in the past or who I will vote for, but I will vote for The Rock. I'm not even gonna lie, I'll vote for The Rock. I don't care what party he represents. I'm gonna vote for The Rock. But yeah, I feel like here's my basic logic. I think the era of finding a person who has all the experience and everything and then selecting that person to be president, that's over. I'll take it a further step. And here's the conspiracy part of me coming out. Check out the Dreaded Samurai YouTube channel once I make it, because this is where you're going to get this kind of stuff. I don't necessarily think we even have a say on who becomes the president. I think that shit is predetermined, just like wrestling. This shit is predetermined on who's gonna be there. That's why if The Rock ever becomes the president, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna say, oh man, there was a WWE 2K story mode where The Rock was the president. Oh wow, The Rock on his show, he was the president. I'm gonna look at all those things as evidence that it was predetermined. And that's just where it is. But yeah, if The Rock ran for president, I'm going to vote for him. Sorry, not sorry. Next, we're going to get into free agency. Time to get into free agency, a segment that I'm about to start doing on every episode of The War Room. Our first part of free agency is going to focus on CM Punk again. According to BWE, CM Punk is expected back in WWE. He has a call scheduled, and by now it's Sunday, so he might have already had it. He has a call scheduled with the board members and a feeling backstage that he's on his way. WWE also updated his profile on WWE.com, but I don't think that has shit to do with nothing. Just to be honest, I think that's just some shit they do periodically. It's just coincidence that they did it for CM Punk. What do I think is going to happen? I went from thinking that CM Punk's not coming to thinking that CM Punk is coming, but I also think there's a chance that CM Punk is the devil. Stay tuned. I think CM Punk might be I think CM Punk and Tony Khan and all those guys might be working everybody. I think CM Punk might actually still be in AEW, just wearing the fucking devil's mask. Will Ospreay had a little back and forth with Seth Rollins after Crown Jewel, and Will Ospreay put the little eye emoji, and Seth Rollins said, "Oh, water is wet" or "water is hot," whatever the fuck he said on X. But besides that, there have also been talks between Ospreay and WWE, AEW. Ospreay is coveted by all promotions, okay? Ospreay is expected to be open-minded about what company he signs with. So that means that he's not going to take the standpoint of, oh, WWE, they're evil. I'm not signing with WWE. They're bad. He's not going to take that approach. And that's according to Fight for Select that he's going to be open-minded about that. So we'll see. I think it'll be great if Ospreay signed with WWE. I don't want anybody else to sign with AEW until they get their roster straightened out. I think that there's a perception issue with AEW and wanting to release wrestlers. I think releasing wrestlers is something that has to be done from the business side of it, and they're not doing anything besides hurting themselves by holding on to wrestlers that they have no creative for and have no time for. So they need to do that. So with that said, no, I do not want Will Ospreay to sign with AEW because I honestly believe that he will have more to do and have more opportunities in WWE. That's just where I'm with that. Drew McIntyre. Apparently, this is according to BWE as well, Drew McIntyre is locked and loaded and re-signed with WWE. I don't believe that. Now, who am I to disagree with BWE or whoever, but I just don't believe that. I just don't believe that because that's not what we were hearing. And then for it to be just an abrupt, sudden change, and now he's already signed, I just don't think that's the case. And if the rumors were true where one of the reasons why he hasn't re-signed was because of his creative and lack of opportunity and things of that nature, I don't see how losing to Seth at Crown Jewel changes any of that. It still feels like he doesn't have any creative. He wasn't even featured on Monday Night Raw, so I don't believe that. Okay, now here's a difficult one because this is the young lion type Fulton's department, but I'm going to go for it because we're about to talk about someone from Stardom. Ty has showed me this person in the ring. He's told me about her. I'm going to try to say her name, Guilia, because I've been calling her Julia the whole time. So I'm going to say Guilia. I know she's he said that she's called the Japtalian Stallion. Apparently WWE is trying to sign Guilia. She is rumored to be heading to the Performance Center soon, and that's according to PWI. From the little bit I've seen of her that Ty showed me, I think that'll be a good sign, especially if the plan is ultimately to put her with Io, Kyrie, and Asuka. If that's the plan, I'm all for it. She definitely has the look. What I don't want to happen with her is for her to be like Saray, where she has nothing to do. WWE is getting stacked up with this. Look, WWE does not have a problem with the women's division. Honestly, with the way they're going about their signings of the female competitors, if I was on the main roster and I was a woman, I would be a little bit concerned with my spot because I feel like the women's roster that's already on the main roster, there's a lot of dead weight up there. There's a lot of women up there that I don't necessarily think have anything to do. That's why some of them are going down to NXT and stuff like that. Yeah, man, they're going to have to make room, man. The women's division is stacked. So, that's it for today's episode of The War Room. Please, 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 please like, subscribe, follow, turn on your notifications. It helps out with the algorithm. I am MFGDs, and I will see you next time in The War Room.